suppose I should start out with a confession. I'm actually not a big gamer.
1080p, 60 frames per second.
4K at 60 frames per second is in up to 8K resolution.
And no console that limits where gamers can play. And we're about to show this to you now. This is not a concept, it's not a test, this is real.
Well, that was definitely a thing that I watched. We watched, in fact, if you were one of the unfortunate souls that had to suffer through it with me on stream. Once more, I'm sorry about that. As many of us had feared, there is no console, no hardware aspect to Google's new platform. No, in the future, there are no boxes, just possibilities. What a joke. Before I go off on this Google Stadia reveal, I want to make it clear, I do understand the appeal of streaming games, but I don't think our internet services are where they need to be yet for this to really feel like a suitable replacement for consoles or a PC. And as an actual presentation, I felt like this whole thing was about as awful as you can get. This was your standard, the future is now, all talk and no substance event. We're going to be able to do 1,000 player battle royale matches in 8K, 60 frames per second on your phone with no lag. And here's some footage of a nonsensical tech demo. If you're going to have all this big talk, at least show us something. With these BS tech demos, why not simulate the 1,000 players running around and shooting each other? At least that could be interesting to look at for like a minute. Instead, they straight up lifted the original Crackdown 3 teases. Oh, look at these fully destructible city environments made possible with the power of cloud computing. Almost exactly what we were promised in Crackdown 3. And how'd that turn out? To be fair, there were some cool aspects. I like the idea of not being limited for couch co-op games, and the concept they pitched of a game allowing you to see what your teammates see fully rendered. The group play thing that allows viewers to play with streamers by getting in a queue all taken care of by Stadia, but even that would mean everyone, I assume, would have to have Stadia. But much of it also seemed very unnecessary. Like, now you can record speedruns and challenge your friends to beat your best time. Yeah, because that was totally impossible before. You can save game clips to the cloud. Ooh, none of my consoles have a button that already does that with one press. And speaking of button presses, this play button idea where it sounds like Google is just going to try and get everyone to litter YouTube and other social media posts with these buttons that allow you to click and start playing the game instantly sounds insanely intrusive. I'm already calling it. Whenever you simply Google a game by name, the first thing that's going to pop up will be an ad asking you to play it with Stadia. I can already see the shilling with embedding the links in YouTube videos. Oh, this game is amazing. 10 out of 10 on Stadia. Play it now with my sponsored link. Just kill me. And this thing dragged for like an hour. Again, so little substance. How often was it just a couple of logos on a white screen in the background? And they didn't address really any of what are surely the biggest questions on players' minds. Is it a full streaming service? You know, it's not a box, right? You foolish peasants with your towers and consoles. It's not a box, it's a place. Get with the times. Okay, so what sort of internet speeds am I going to need to maintain this? Even if it's low, like let's say it's similar to streaming Netflix. Then you've got to worry about data caps. That's something I feel many people aren't addressing enough with this whole streaming thing. I see a lot of talk about speed, but what about those data limits? If you really want this to be a console or PC replacement for people who are hardcore gamers playing for hours a day, even if they have the speeds, they're probably going to also need an uncapped connection. And how the hell is this going to work for on the go, if at all? You know, they did show the little phone connected to the controller deal and reference multiple times being able to play anywhere. How many places are you going to find out in the wild that you're going to be able to pull any semblance of a stable connection? I have trouble watching YouTube videos when I'm on a bus or a train, and those at least you can buffer. And even if you connect to like a Starbucks Wi-Fi, you know that's going to be trash too. Again, I just don't see it being very practical today. And what I've been seeing is not exactly impressive. And this is in their controlled environment, okay? Where you'd think it'd be at its best. Not a great sign, in my opinion. So to really get much out of this, I think you're going to have to pay for a decent connection and maybe even an uncapped data plan, which brings me to my next concern. How much is this going to cost me after that, after I figured out all my internet stuff? I'm assuming it's going to be a service model, could be pay for the games individually, but with the way they're pushing the instant access deal, like they showed, oh, you watch an Assassin's Creed trailer and click the play button and within 5 seconds you're playing the game. That's something that seems more akin to a service model. That way, whenever you see the little shiny button, you can just click it and play the game. But either way, what does that cost? Is it $10 a month like Game Pass? $60 a year like PSN and Xbox Live? What happens to your games and saves once you stop paying, since everything is tucked away in the cloud? No hints about any of that were given. And how about the biggest question, the most important question when it comes to any video game platform since the dawn of the medium? What are the games? We got almost no info on that front either. And the service is launching in 2019, so it's not like this is a way off in the future thing. We didn't even get a cheap like, oh, it's gonna launch with over 100 games, and here are just a few with some logos of the big AAA ones on the screen. As of right now, between this and Microsoft's xCloud as the two big game streaming services, I am way more interested in the xCloud. I'm not super thrilled about either. At least with that one, I have an idea of what the games will be. Surely Microsoft's in-house stuff, probably a lot of the stuff they currently have in Game Pass, but they seem to be looking at it as more supplemental. Integrating it with the Xbox Play Anywhere stuff means I'll be able to play the games on my PC or Xbox, actually on the hardware, no streaming, then play the game with my save through the xCloud if I want. Google did state that Stadia will support cross-platform play and even cross-saves, but with what? As with everything, they were so vague, which I'm sure I'm going to have a ton of comments saying, oh, they'll explain it all later. Just wait. Yeah, I know they said, oh, more info coming this summer, but they went for an hour today, okay? If you're going to have us sitting here for an hour, you should have filled that time with at least some meaningful stuff, not a bunch of lame promises and tech demos. And it still certainly seems to me that their aim is for this to be your hardware replacement, not supplement. And I just don't think the vast majority of people on this planet are ready for that. But with that, this video is a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the Google Stadia reveal in the comments. Are you excited for a cloud gaming future? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the Google Stadia reveal. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter, @JohnnyZakari. And join my Discord, ChiGuy and Friends. Link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.